It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
We've got a great after Thanksgiving program for you today, and that's saying something because it is notoriously hard to schedule guests during holiday weeks, and that's why you tend to hear a lot of best of shows during holiday weeks. I figured with COVID-19, things might be easier, but it really wasn't. That's why you're going to hear a wonderful interview about fox hunting featuring guide and author Michael Huff in just a couple of minutes. We actually aired Michael's interview 3 years ago on this show, but the information is just as relevant now as it was when we first aired it, and back then we were only on some 35 stations compared to 105 stations we're on now, so for most of you, this is going to be brand new. Speaking of which, I'd like to welcome our newest affiliate on board this week. That would be KEDO AM 1400 and FM 92.9 out of Longview, Washington, an area known for great salmon and steelhead fishing, as well as very good elk hunting, all in the shadow of that famous volcano that blew its top 30 years ago, Mount St. Helens. Getting back to guests on this week's show, we were able to find 3 very good ones who carved out some time to be with us. One of them is Captain Mac McQuarrie, the owner of Sportsman's Cove Lodge in southeast Alaska on Prince of Wales Island near Ketchikan. It's no secret that not too many anglers were able to go fishing in Alaska last summer due to COVID, but the good news is that fishing in 2021 should be fantastic. And if all the vaccine news we are getting is correct, this coming summer should be a great time to visit this wonderful lodge. Whether you want to enjoy a full 3 or 4 day fishing trip while being treated like a king or queen, or whether you and your family want to enjoy a tailor-made Alaska wilderness experience in your own waterfront lodge. Either trip would make a great gift to give for the holidays, and Captain Mac will tell you more about both options that you can book at alaskasbestlodge.com. If you want to do some fishing now, consider late fall and winter crappie fishing. Ron Stallings, the marketing director for TTI Blakemore out of Alabama, knows all about this topic, and he'll share some great advice about how to bag winter crappie, whether you are fishing southern lakes or jigging through the ice in the upper Midwest. Getting back to hunting, I think you're really going to enjoy our conversation with Judd Lee about hunting bison in several of our western states. This is one big game animal many of us dream of checking off our bucket list, and Judd, who works for Worldwide Trophy Adventures, will let you know what your options are when it comes to where you can hunt these huge animals on public land or private ranches and estates. As for what to use to bring down a bison, Judd will talk about that too, and I'll give you a preview. You are going to want a rifle and ammo with some serious oomph. Before we go any further, though, I want to talk a little more about the holidays and gift giving. If you turn on the TV during this holiday season, you're likely to see that wonderful family movie, A Christmas Story. You know, the one set in a simpler time, and the young hero Ralphie wants only one thing for Christmas, a lever-action BB gun. Well, Ralphie is all grown up now, and so are you, but that doesn't mean you can't give or receive a lever-action gun for Christmas. You can, and we're not talking about a BB gun. We're talking about a real gun, and a beauty, too. We are talking about a lever-action rifle or shotgun from Henry Repeating Arms. Think of it as the ultimate Christmas gift for the grown-up or for that boy or girl who's graduating from a BB gun to a .22 or better. These lever-action firearms have that Old West classic look, so you'll still feel like a marshal with that rifle in your hand, but there's a lot more to a Henry than that. These are modern, reliable, American-made firearms with a lifetime guarantee, and with over 200 different rifles and shotguns to choose from, you are definitely going to find one that is perfect to put under the tree this holiday season. Head to henryusa.com now. That's henryusa.com. Once you're there, be sure to order a free catalog. They'll also send you a holiday gift guide and 2 free decals too. Just look for the Henry you want, find a dealer near you, and make someone very, very happy this holiday season. The website again, henryusa.com. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we're talking to Michael Huff again. You may remember him as the author of Understanding Coyotes, the comprehensive guide for hunters, photographers, and wildlife observers. You can find the book on Amazon.com. Michael is a coyote and fox hunting guide. And Michael, you live in Pennsylvania. And I'll be honest, a lot of our stations are out here on the West Coast. A lot of our listeners aren't very familiar with red fox hunting. It's just not something that's really done out here so much. A lot of folks do coyote hunting, but not so much the fox hunting. Tell our listeners what a fox hunt is like back east.
Well, I'll tell you, the very best thing about a red fox hunt is when you're frustrated and the coyotes are making you scratch your head, go on fox hunting because they're sure willing to play a lot more than the coyotes are. So that's the first thing. They're surely not as smart as a coyote. So a fox hunt is a hunt with a lot of action. Pretty much out here, we hunt them at night, although you could hunt them the first hour, the last hour of daylight. But fox come in very quickly. In fact, I had a client out last night, and we called in one coyote and I think 7 or 8 fox. So
wow.
They're much more abundant, and they'll usually come in at like 3 minutes, So the way to get a fox in is, just to be as loud and crazy as you can on a distress call, whether you're using your Fox Pro or some other electronic caller or hand calls. In fact, I prefer hand calls a little bit, but just being loud and crazy, it's almost like you hit a switch, and they come in fast, and they come in frequently, and they're a lot of fun. They provide a lot of action. It's almost like a small game hunt sometimes.
So here's a question for you. In terms of terrain, especially back where you're hunting in southeast Pennsylvania and Maryland, are you setting up at basically the edges of pastures and meadows at tree lines, or how are you setting up so you actually get the shot on these animals?
Yeah, the best red fox hunting is just setting up in the middle of a farm field, and that's going to sound strange to a lot of people, but if you consider at night, you're using a red light and you're shining it, and if you can get the animal's eyes in the light, before it sees you, you can pretty much have the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders behind you at night dancing, and the fox can't see it. That red light basically blocks the fox from seeing past it. So pretty much farm fields with woodlots around them. Early in the season, farm fields are great, and then as it gets later in the season, the crops are all gone. You want to focus on draws and pastures with hay and alfalfa still in them, and particularly woodlots. That's where the reds are. And we have grays, too, and you can find grays in the woods, big woods, but there are a lot less of them, and they're not as much fun, in my opinion.
Sure. Let's talk about rifles and sights. What are you doing since you're hunting at night?
Well, believe it or not, I use a light called the Coyote light, and it's so bright, you can actually turn the light and make it go from a circle to a very tight square. So you can actually see your scope reticle without illumination. I run all illuminated scopes. I find that it helps me and people I guide shoot a little better at night. But generally, you'd want a scope that has a really big objective diameter, usually 50 or 54. And it doesn't have to be a really good scope. I have some really expensive scopes, and I have some less costly scopes, and they both work great at night. So pretty much we're going to run a scope around a 3 to 12. Once you get much past 12 on a scope at night, things start to get dark real quick.
Sure. What about caliber?
Yeah. Well, my favorite caliber for a fox is something called a 17 rim Fireball. It's a really tiny 17 caliber center fire, and it's nice because it puts them down, and if you have a coyote come in, it can take care of a coyote marginally, but it does it. But rim fires work well, too. The 22 mags work great. Problem is, once you get past 125 yards, they drop fast, but they're an excellent fox caliber in a rim fire. Also, the 17 Win Super Mag with a 25 grain bullet, that's another rim fire that you can use for a fox. And anytime you get above the 17 rim Fireball, you're kind of have a little bit too much gun there for the fox because they're pretty thin-skinned, and most people just want to mount them. They're so beautiful when they get one. They're just proud. They want to do the skin or the whole animal. So bigger calibers are not necessarily a good idea for fox.
I understand. Once again, we're out of time. Could talk to you forever, Michael. Fascinating stuff. The book, by the way, not about foxes, but, well, a little bit about foxes, but mainly about coyotes, is Understand Coyotes, the comprehensive guide for hunters, photographers, and wildlife observers. It's by Michael Huff. Look for it on Amazon.com. Michael, thanks again for this great information on America Outdoors Radio.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Immerse yourself in a complete Alaska wilderness experience through Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Up to 6 of you will spend a week in a beautiful waterfront log home in a secluded cove. Every day is a new adventure. Go on a guided fishing trip or haul in a bounty of shrimp and crab. Visit a Native American village where totem poles are carved. Go on a whale or bear watching trip and return back to your very own place at the end of the day. Find out more about the Alaska Wilderness Experience at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms, American-made. There's over 200 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, accurate, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
Hunting and fishing are exercises in hope. Before you head into the woods, you hope to tag out on a deer you'll have to field dress. Before you make that first cast, you hope for a big fish to clean and fillet. When your hopes are realized, you'll need a sharp knife. Whether you sharpen that blade on a power sharpener in the shop or a manual sharpener in the field, WorkSharp has the tool for you. Look for WorkSharp products in sporting goods stores near you or online at WorkSharpTools.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is the voice for your public lands, waters, and wildlife. From the Canadian Yukon to the Florida Everglades, we're stepping up to conserve North America's public lands, defend our hunting and fishing traditions, and expand public access to the outdoors. Our outdoor heritage depends on sportsmen and women like you speaking up for the natural resources that sustain our way of life. Find out how you can get involved at backcountryhunters.org and become a BHA member today.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We've got Larry Captain Mac McQuarrie on the line. He's the owner of Sportsman's Cove Lodge on Prince of Wales Island in southeast Alaska. Captain Mac, great to have you back on the air.
Hey, John, good to be with you.
Well, you know, the holiday season is officially here, and I can think of no better gift than giving the gift of a trip to Sportsman's Cove Lodge. There's a lot of pent-up demand for getting back to Alaska because I'm guessing about 90% of the people who wanted to go last year couldn't go because of COVID. Is that about right?
That's exactly right. And not only that, we rolled a lot of our folks over from last year into this year. And so a lot of our inventory has already been sold. There's not a lot of space left for this year. There is some, but not a lot left.
I completely understand that, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to get any cancellations because, number one, you have so many repeat customers, and number two, I'm thinking the fishing is going to be fantastic because those fish were left pretty much unmolested last year, weren't they?
That's right. And you're right about everybody chomping at the bit. They missed their last year, and they're not going to miss another year. So, yeah, the fishing was pretty much non-existent. So we've got some great fishing ahead, it looks like. And we may even get some relief on the halibut slot limit, too. So it's looking like we might get a bigger halibut slot limit. We won't know until the IPHC, International Pacific Halibut Commission, meets in January, but that's what it's looking like right now. So, yeah, we're looking up for next year as far as the fishing is concerned.
Here's the deal, folks. I mean, if you were after a trip at a 5-star lodge with outstanding customer service, wonderful food, and great fishing for salmon, for halibut, for true cod, and for, rockfish, too. Oh, and don't forget the lingcod. I almost forgot the lingcod. I can't forget that because those are so tasty.
Yeah.
This is the trip for you. Why don't you walk our listeners through a typical trip to Sportsman's Cove Lodge? Step one is getting to Seattle, and then from Seattle, you fly into Ketchikan during a normal year, and I think we'll be back to normal in 2021. There's several flights a day. What happens when you get off the plane in Ketchikan?
First of all, each week is divided into a 3-day package and a 4-day package. So each of those packages is available each week. And Ketchikan, being the closest spot in Alaska to the lower 48, is an easy 90-minute flight on Alaska Airlines and Delta Airlines right into Ketchikan. We pick you up in Ketchikan in our float planes, and we run you out to the lodge. It's about a 20-minute run out to the lodge. But once you're out there, you're a world away. So it's an easy commute from Seattle right out to the lodge, and then the fun begins. And you come out in the afternoon. We have first night dinner, and we do an orientation at dinner, and then down on the boats for orientation, safety orientation, and fishing lessons on the boat. And then each day starts out with breakfast at 6 o'clock, and your captains are your hosts. From the minute you arrive, they'll be the ones that greet you as you get off the float planes, and they spend almost all their waking hours with you. Breakfast with your captain, you strategize that, then you're gone 6:30, back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, weigh fish for the biggest fish of the day awards, and hors d'oeuvres, and then dinner at 6 o'clock. And most people are ready for bed shortly after that. They've had a long day, but there are some other activities. We've got some skiffs you can take out and row around the cove, and there's some hiking and things like that. But most folks are done by the end of a long day of hard fishing.
Oh, that's true. And the better part, folks, is you get to do it again and again. So on the 3-day trips, you actually get 3 full days of fishing. On the 4-day trips, you get 4 full days of fishing. On your last day, you come back in, you get fed again, you fly back out to Ketchikan, and then you're on your own for one night in Ketchikan before you take your flight back home, correct?
Or the late flight out of Ketchikan leaves Ketchikan around 7 o'clock down to Seattle, and you can keep on going from there or spend the night in Seattle, whatever you want to do. But yes, it's important to note that a 3-day package is 3 full days of fishing. Check that out at other places, folks,
right,
because that's not the case. In most places, you lose a day or a half a day or whatever in the turnover, sometimes on the way in and on the way out. So a 3-day package is 3 full days of fishing.
Not only that, folks, they're going to have all of your fish. They're going to be filleted out in perfect meal-sized portions. They're going to be freezer-packed. Everything's ready to go. So you just put it on the plane. As a matter of fact, it'll be waiting for you at the airport. So you just check it in, it goes on the plane, and you take it home with you. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, again, folks, you're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Larry, Captain Mac McQuarrie, about his wonderful destination called Sportsman's Cove Lodge. A couple things I love about the lodge we didn't get to. Number one, the customer service. You actually have more staff on site than you do customers. There's never more than 30 customers at the lodge at a time. And number two, the food is absolutely fantastic. But we don't have time to dive into that today. We do have time, though, to talk about the Alaska Wilderness Experience. So for those folks who still want to just do a family trip or a group trip, still want to self-isolate, this is the trip for them. Why don't you tell our listeners about that?
Yeah, the awe package, Alaska Wilderness Experience, and it is full of awe. It's not necessarily oriented towards fishing. It's other activities, but there is fishing, and you can choose from a menu of activities for your family, whatever your family would like to do, but it would include things like shrimping, crabbing, whale watching, bear watching, possibly a tour to a local native village with real Alaska native carved totem poles and other activities like that. Some hiking involved, maybe some kayaking too. We have kayaks, so it's becoming a very popular package for us. It's at a satellite lodge right next to our main lodge, and a beautiful, beautiful log home. Authentic log home, really, too. And so it's all about Alaska, and it's all about the experience, and it's a great family package, and it's becoming very popular. We just did a whole bunch of improvements to the satellite lodge, too. Another bathroom upstairs and things like that. So it's a very popular package, and there's not much space left on that one, but great for the family. And it's a week-long package. It's not just 3 days or 4 days. It's a full week-long package.
Well, I love the fact that you basically have your own lodge. It's right on the water. You've got your own pier that goes out there as well. And in addition to that, like you said, it's completely customizable. So if you really like hiking and kayaking or nature watching, whether it be whales or bears or other wildlife, You can do that all the time if you want. I mean, there is one day of fishing involved, and you don't want to miss out on that. If you want to do more fishing, you can do more fishing. You want to drop a crab pot, you can drop a crab pot, maybe a shrimp pot too, and then eat when you get back. This is a wonderful package for the do-it-yourself or kind of do-it-yourself adventurer who just wants, like you said, that Alaska wilderness experience. We've got to get going, but before we do, let's give out the website so folks can book what few spots are remaining for 2021.
www.alaskasbestlodge.com is the website.
That's alaskasbestlodge.com. That's the website for Sportsman's Cove Lodge, alaskasbestlodge.com. They call it Alaska's Best Lodge because it is Alaska's Best Lodge. Give this gift for Christmas. You're going to be a hit with whoever you give it to, but you better act fast. Space is limited. Captain Mac, a Merry Christmas to you and Patty and the rest of the Sportsman's Cove crew.
Same to you and your listeners, John. Thank you very much.
Why book at Sportsman's Cove Lodge?
Why is Alaska like no other place on Earth? It hasn't changed in thousands of years.
From the way you get here on a float plane to the way you go out with the guides and the boats, it's just a professional experience.
And I said, this is as good as it gets. I said, if you can't catch fish here, you can't catch fish anywhere.
Your experience with us will leave you speechless.
Book now at alaskasbestlodge.com.
The Dalles in Oregon is your base camp for fishing fun. Reel in big salmon, tangle with steelhead, bass, and walleye, or wrestle a monster sturgeon to the boat. After the day is done, you'll find a variety of lodging options around town. Need to resupply? We've got you covered with sporting goods stores plus great dining, breweries, wineries, and can't-miss attractions like the Gorge Discovery Center. Plan your fishing getaway today at explorethedalles.com. That's explorethedalles.com.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're going to talk about a different sort of big game hunting today. We're going to talk about hunting for bison. Yes, you can actually do that in a few of our United States. And with us here to tell you more about this is Judd Lee. He's a hunting consultant with Worldwide Trophy Adventures who just wrote a great article about this very topic. Judd, welcome to the show.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. You know, I guess we should probably start off with the story of the bison in North America. I mean, when Lewis and Clark came along, the herds were so thick it took days for them to cross the plains. And then by 1902, I think we had like 32 bison left in the Yellowstone ecosystem. We pretty much wiped them out. Where are we at today in comparison?
We're sitting around a couple 100,000, mostly due to private ranches. And then, with the assistance of government, like Yellowstone, national parks, things like that, they've rebounded to around a couple 100,000.
And it's been a great rebound. As a matter of fact, I was at Yellowstone National Park this September, and folks, you will have no problem seeing a bison at Yellowstone. They are very prolific there. Another great place to go is the Bison National Refuge in northwest Montana. But we're going to talk about hunting bison today. You can't hunt bison in either one of those places. When it comes to an actual public land hunt where you can draw a tag and do a free-range hunt, what states can you actually do that in?
The big ones would be, Alaska being the most extreme in the woods bison, and then you drop down in the lower 48 with Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and then the addition of South Dakota on Custer State Park.
Now, here's the next question. How tough is it to draw a tag? Is this like a mountain goat or a bighorn sheep where it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance in a lot of states and your chances of actually drawing that tag are nearly non-existent, or do you actually have a chance in a few states?
Drawing a tag, they are steep odds. They are like sheep odds. If you look at statistics-wise, Wyoming would be the state that has the highest draw odds, probably followed by South Dakota, but you're looking at, very steep tag prices as well as that come along with those steep draw odds.
And if you actually did draw a tag for one of these public land hunts, I'm guessing most people hire a guide because the average Joe doesn't have a whole lot of knowledge about how to go about a bison hunt or where to find them, do they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, most of the guys that do draw them go outfitted. A lot of the reason is, the bison is a giant animal. You're looking at a mature bull that's weighing between 15 and 2,000 pounds, and the average guy just doesn't have the equipment, know-how, or the logistics to be able to scout these, effectively. But, you shoot a bison back in the backcountry of, in the Henry Mountains of Utah or in the Book Cliffs, area, getting the meat out efficiently without, wasting the animal, that's a big part of it. So, these guys use horses and they have the equipment and the know-how to get them out of the backcountry effectively without any waste of the animal.
Interesting, and that makes perfect sense, the way you explain it. Speaking of these big animals, they've got to be hard to bring down. What kind of rifle, what kind of ammo are you using? I know back in the Old West days, it was a 45-70. Are you still using that, or are you using something else?
You need to be using something 30 caliber or bigger. A lot of guys use 300, stuff that the bigger calibers for elk, moose type of things. I've guided several bison hunts in my career. I will tell you the probably the most effective round I've seen is like a 375 H&H, which is what they use for African, Cape buffalo. But, a lot of guys like the nostalgia part of bison hunting and the Sharps, the replica Brownings and Sharps rifles that are in 45-70 in those types of calibers, the straight, the old straight wall cartridges. Those bring some really unique parts to the hunt and just kind of brings back some of the tradition of, the 1800s along with it. But yeah, you need a very good bullet, something that's going to stay together, penetrate deep, that's going to deliver a lot of energy because they are a big animal. I would say, from Africa to North America, in the places that I've been, I have not seen a tougher critter than an American bison.
Interesting. Very interesting. So let's talk about something different here. We just talked about how tough it is to draw a tag for a public land hunt from any one of the states, but there are estate hunts, private property hunts, and Worldwide Trophy Outfitters helps with those. Where do these estate hunts take place, and what do those hunts look like?
Yeah, through Worldwide Trophy Adventures, we have a couple different hunts that we offer. And then, like I said, the private ranches bring in basically the backbone of the success story of bringing the bison back in the huntable numbers and actually really being a prolific animal in the United States, but on ranches, right?
Right.
So with that being said, that we have estate ranches, which we know they're, from Texas, all the way up through the midsection of the United States where bison are present. Those are, high fence hunts that, the animals can't jump over.
Right.
And then you have ranch type of hunts, but there's still ranch hunts, but the high fence hunts, if a guy's looking to shoot a super slam, super 10, the estate hunts with the high fence, say around the 10, 12 foot fences, those will not qualify for the super 25, the super 10, the super slam stuff, through Grand Slam Ovis. The ranch hunts out in, a lot of these are in Oklahoma up through the Dakotas. These will qualify for those super slam type of hunts. And, a lot of these are on big giant ranches that are, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 acre ranches. And they're behind, 5 foot fences or, a cattle fence for, layman terms, just like a 5-strand barbed wire fence.
You basically have the public land hunts. That is a wild bison, and it's the true wild experience. You got the estate hunts, which are the high fence hunts, which some people would call a canned hunt, and that's why they don't qualify for some of these, slams that we're talking about here. But these ranch hunts, it sounds like that is more of an authentic hunting experience.
Yeah, and like the free range hunts, those are going to be Boone and Crockett qualifying hunts. The state hunts, those are just, checking the box,
Sure.
And I wouldn't per se call them canned hunts. The canned hunts I would say are going to be in, small enclosures where it's a super easy go in, shoot, and drive out. There's canned hunts, and then there's really good estate hunts where the ground is you got a couple thousand or acres or even more. That's high fence, and it's a super hunt, it can be a tough hunt, but at the same time, they really can't go anywhere, And then, like you said, these cattle fence, ranches, the ranch hunts is how I call them. I've seen bison jump a 5-foot high fence. I've seen them walk right through a 5-foot high fence. They're pretty much free to go whenever they want because they can just do whatever they want because they're so big and they're so tough. But yeah, and those would qualify for this, the ranch hunts that we're talking, those would qualify for most of the stuff that guys are going after, the Super Slam type of stuff.
All right. Well, if you've got around $6,000, folks, or incredible luck when it comes to drawing a tag, you really should consider trying one of these bison hunts if you really want to try something different and check that box for one of America's most iconic big game animals. And Worldwide Trophy Adventures, they can help you with that, either in helping you draw a tag, or if you draw a tag, helping you book an outfitter, or getting you on one of these estate or ranch hunts. They have several ranch hunts available in Nebraska, for example. And if you just go to worldwidetrophyadventures.com, you will find all the information right there. Judd, anything you want to add before we go?
Yeah, like you said, we'd be happy to help you no matter what your pursuit is on the bison. If you're going after the draw type of hunt for the Boone and Crockett, or if you're just looking for some good table fare, all the way down to a meat or a cow hunt on a ranch, we're happy to help. We've got resources for all of those from top to bottom. So yeah, we'd be much happy to help anybody looking for a good quality bison hunt.
All right. That's worldwidetrophyadventures.com. And if you want more information, contact Judd Lee directly. He'll be happy to tell you all about bison hunting in a lot more detail than we got today. Judd, thanks so much for sharing this with us today, and good luck on the deer hunt you're on right now in Kansas, too.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it. It's been a little tough, so I need a little luck.
Looking for the perfect gift for the hunter or shooter in your life? Give them a Henry. These American-made lever-action guns shoot straight and have a classic Western look. Choose from a .22 caliber Henry for plinking, a heavier caliber for hunting, or even a shotgun for birds and small game. Better still, these guns come in all sorts of finishes, covering everything from use in the field or on the range to showing off the best-looking firearm in your zip code. Henry rifles and shotguns come with a lifetime guarantee. And if you help need deciding what Henry is right for you, just ask. The award-winning customer service team at henryusa.com will be happy to help you out. So, go to henryusa.com and order a free catalog and holiday gift guide. Then, find what you like, look for a dealer near you, and get a gift that will put a real smile on someone's face this holiday season. Start searching for your Henry now at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
Attention homeowners, spending more time around your house means you're putting more stress on major appliances that keep your home running. Like many Americans, a major breakdown could be very costly during these uncertain times. AC unit goes, that's $4,500. Water heater breaks, $1,500. When you own a home, it's always something. If you have a home warranty, those repairs could cost you nothing. A Home Service Club warranty pays for the repair or replacement of your home appliances and systems when they break down, even from normal wear and tear. For about $1 a day, you can cover your home appliances and systems. It's not a question of if they'll break down, it's when. If you call now, you'll get your first month free and $75 off your first year. Make home appliance repairs one less thing to worry about. Call 800-259-1604 now for your free quote, free first month, and $75 off your first year. 800-259-1604 now. That's 800-259-1604. Again, 800-259-1604.
Our American spirit is alive and strong. And while we're all going through these unprecedented historical times, we can face these challenges together. Hello, I'm Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inns. Although we may wear face masks and practice social distancing, there are no restrictions on making travel memories for business or pleasure. Taking care of our Shiloh guests and employees is the very essence of what we do. At Shiloh Inns, we're open and ready to welcome you to a clean, safe home away from home. You'll find extra cleaning and sanitizing protocols in place for the safety of our guests and employees. At Shiloh Inns, we offer many free amenities like free Wi-Fi, and even the kids stay free. So book your next stay with confidence at ShilohInns.com or call 1-800-222-2244. Shiloh Inns, affordable excellence, American family-owned and proud of it.
If your favorite season is deer, if your favorite salad is meat salad, if your favorite gifts come wrapped in fur or scales, if you're dreaming of a white and camo Christmas, then you'd fit right in at Sportsman's Warehouse. And lucky for you, Sportsman's is offering amazing deals all season long. So visit your local store or go online to sportsmans.com and gear up for an unforgettable holiday.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we are heading to Wetumpka, Alabama. That's where we get to talk to Ron Stallings. He is the Sales and Marketing Director for TTI Blakemore. They make all sorts of hooks and lures, especially when it comes to warm water fish like crappie, like panfish, like walleye. Ron, I guess I'll start off with happy holidays, my friend, and Merry Christmas in advance.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Happy holidays to y'all out there, too.
Let's go ahead and talk about winter crappie fishing today. A lot of folks have put down the fishing rods. They're out in the woods. They're after deer. They're out in the marshes. They're after ducks. But how is winter crappie fishing this time of year, especially down in the southern states?
Well, as you know, when winter rolls around, crappie fishing in the south really jams up in a big way, and the lakes get filled up, and the fish are just they're on fire. Between all the fronts that we have come through here from west to east, and once the front approaches and the front passes, just 12 to 24 hours after it passes, the crappie fishing is just amazing here. It really is. Big ones too. I mean, not just your little peewees. We're talking really nice size crappie.
So when it comes to fishing for crappie in the winter versus the summer or spring or fall, what are you doing differently this time of year?
Mainly during this time of year, we do a lot of what's called spider rigging, and that's putting 3, 6, 8 different rods out the front of the boat at different depths, trying to find that thermocline. And normally they're using minnow rigs. It'll be, depending on what state you're in and whether you can do it or not, they use double hook rigs. And they'll have a weight on the bottom, have a hook hang off, 10 inches above the weight, another hook 10 inches above that one with a couple of minnows on there. But they also use jigs like Roadrunners, and they'll tip it with the minnow, or they'll just use the Roadrunner by itself and just push those spider rigs into cover. Because during the winter, a lot of crappie will hug on cover, and the reason why they do that is as the sun comes up and then there's a tree sticking out of the water, that tree heats up, and then it heats that water up, and they transition to there because a lot of their forage goes to those warm spots. So you push your baits into those treetops and near high ledges that are getting warmed up first, and you just push up inside there and just stop your boat and let those baits just drift into those treetops or those ledges, and that's where the crappie hang out. And they hang out there pretty large because during the fall and the summer months, the crappie are down lower because the thermoclines are colder lower, and you'll fish deeper for them there.
Folks, if you're not familiar with the Roadrunner lure, this is an iconic lure. How long has it been around now? And for our few listeners who are not familiar with it, describe it.
Well, the Roadrunner's been around a little over 60 years now, just like True Turn hooks have been around a little over 60 years. And we've transformed them from the original Roadrunner heads with just, painted eyes with the Indiana blade on there. We transitioned a lot of them to double eyes, prism eyes, 3D eyes, and just made them a little more attractive, especially in our Natural Science trout and panfish series. It has a foil paint on it and prism eyes and a better blade and a better swivel. And it's been around a long time, and I sold them as a kid in our store in Florida growing up as a little kid and used them as a little kid, and I still use them to this day, and I will always have a box full of Roadrunners no matter where I'm fishing at, whether it's for striper or crappie or bass or bluegill, doesn't matter. There's always going to be Roadrunners in my box for sure.
Well, I've got them in mine as well, and I can thank you for that. And they do work. They really do work. Let's transition to the upper Midwest, where a lot of lakes are freezing up. If you're going after crappie or bluegill or perch under the ice, what would you recommend using from TTI Blakemore?
Well, the original Roadrunner head is always good, but in most ice fishing instances, a lot of people like smaller baits, slower presentations, because the fish are always lethargic during this time of the year. And we have a Roadrunner called a Natural Science Trout and Panfish. It actually has smaller hooks. Instead of a number 6, it'll have a number 8, or if it's a number 1, it'll have a number 4. So the smaller hook really helps during ice fishing. And, we have a lot of people that use them up in Canada when they're ice fishing, and they use the Natural Science Trout and Panfish Roadrunners and are very successful on crappie and panfish. Actually, some people actually catch walleye on these little things, too.
Wow.
And great little bait. Got a little tube on there, and it sticks on really good because of the way the head's made with the little barb there on the shank. And it comes in a wide variety of colors, 32nd and 16th ounce, and 32nd has a number 8 hook, and the 16th ounce has a number 6 hook. Like I said, they have smaller hooks than a normal Roadrunner head does, and they usually drop those down. Some people do what's called stacking, and they'll put a Roadrunner Natural Science Trout Panfish on the bottom, and they'll tie one of our standout hooks on top about 8 or 10 inches above that and use it as a tandem rig. Now, some places don't allow 2 hooks, so you got to check your local regulations and make sure that you're in compliance. So Natural Science Trout Panfish is probably one of the top ones that we sell for ice fishing.
We are out of time, but folks, if you hadn't thought about fishing for crappie and other panfish this time of year, maybe you should. Whether you are up in Minnesota or Wisconsin listening today, or whether you're in Tennessee or Louisiana, there's some great crappie fishing ahead in the months ahead for you. If you want to find some of these lures that Ron just talked about, just go to TTIBlakemore.com. That's the website, TTIBlakemore.com, or go to a sporting goods store near you. Roadrunner lures and all sorts of different hooks made by TTI Blakemore. You're going to find them on the racks there. Ron, thanks so much for sharing this with us today. I want to talk to you again next week during our Christmas gift giveaway show.
Oh, that's great, man. I look forward to it, and I appreciate y'all's support out there. And y'all get out there and go fishing, because there's plenty of fish to be had.
By the way, this portion of the show is brought to you every week by Work Sharp Tools. They're the company that makes those fantastic manual and electric knife and tool sharpeners that you can find in hardware and sporting goods stores all over North America. And you can also find them online at worksharptools.com. And if you want to do some Christmas shopping, I've got a great limited time deal for you. Just go to that website at worksharptools.com. Order whatever you want, whatever you need. And when you check out, be sure to use the coupon code RADIO, because once you type in that word RADIO as a coupon code, you are instantly going to get 30% off your entire order plus free shipping. Again, this is a limited time offer. It's going to expire at the end of the year, so you'll want to take advantage of it now. Everyone needs a knife and tool sharpener, whether it be in the field, in the shop, or the kitchen, so stock up now for Christmas at worksharptools.com, and don't forget that coupon code of RADIO. Speaking of Work Sharp, they are going to be part of our first annual Christmas gift giveaway show that we're doing on America Outdoors Radio. Now, we've done this show for years on our sister show at Northwestern Outdoors Radio, and now we're bringing it here. We're going to give away a total of 12 gifts for Christmas to lucky listeners. Here's how it works. Just tune in to this show next week. We're going to tell you about 6 different gifts that you can ask for Christmas, and we're doing the same thing on our sister show at Northwestern Outdoors Radio, another 6 there. Now, I understand that some of you can't hear that show live because of where you're at, but you can always go to our website at northwesternoutdoors.com and look for a live stream from our affiliate stations. Just go to the TuneIn page, look for a station with an airtime that works for you, and if they've got a live stream, you can tune in over the web, and that's how you participate. Once you tune into the shows, here's what you do. You just like and follow our America Outdoors Radio Facebook page and our Northwestern Outdoors Radio Facebook page, and let us know, what one gift would you like for Christmas? Now, you can enter one gift for each show. So, for example, we are going to be giving away a $440 pellet grill from Camp Chef. We're also going to be giving away a precision knife sharpener from Work Sharp. We've got all sorts of great fishing tackle giveaways. We've got brand new hardcover books for the fly tires. We've got brand new books for the nature lovers. We've also got some great gear if you are fishing out on the water this winter in terms of some cold weather gloves and a few other accessories you'll want to have to stay warm. Throw in $50 worth of gift cards from Sportsman's Warehouse and a few other tricks up our sleeve, and I think you're really going to enjoy this show. But the catch, again, is you only get to ask for one gift. That means you can ask for one gift on our America Outdoors Radio broadcast and one gift from our Northwestern Outdoors Radio broadcast. You might want to use a little strategy because some gifts will be in more demand than others. And since only one person wins each gift after our last broadcast, you've got to figure out if you want to take the long shot odds or better odds for a gift that maybe isn't as asked for as other ones. It's always a lot of fun to participate in our annual Christmas gift giveaway show. Again, the step you should take first is like and follow our America Outdoors Radio Facebook page and our Northwestern Outdoors Radio Facebook page. Then tune in next week and enter for your chance to win one of the 12 gifts of Christmas we are giving away on both shows. We've got to go, but until next time, I do hope you are blessed in the days ahead, that your health remains well too in this time of expanding coronavirus infections, and that you spend a little time in nature. It's always a good tonic for me. I suspect it will be for you too. Until next time, do remember this. It is your country and on that note, do remember this. It is your country and your outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners. Find out more by contacting John Cruz through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.